Hey, Assalamu alaikum, bro. How are you doing?
Walaikum salam, man. Alhamdulillah, man. Alhamdulillah. Doing well. Just, you know, weekend. Weekend's almost over. Um,
Where,
but
what,
doing
what is a
well.
weekend?
I know. Saturday just flew by. Didn't even get to, yeah,
Yeah,
it just flies.
honestly, it's like
Uh,
Saturday is more of a just to realize that, oh, it's the weekend, well, I'll just take care of a few things and then hopefully tomorrow I'll relax because then the next day is work day. But it never
right.
goes down like that, man. Because either you fall lazy or you try to do so many things that by the time Sunday rolls around, you're
Yes.
like, oh man, I didn't get to relax.
I know. Yeah, like for us, well, Saturday, woke up, went to the park for a bit,
Nice.
walk around. But then by the time we came, I don't know why, we came on the went for a drive, came back, and then made lunch. I was so sleepy, and I got a nap, which is what is a nap, right? Like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. I took like a 20 minutes
yeah.
while Zachariah was napping, and and then Raisa took a nap after me, and yeah, the day just go like you're just tired and you're just home, and then yeah,
I agree, man,
flies by.
100%. Yeah, and a lot of times, I'm like, I was talking to someone yesterday and they're like, oh, I don't like to do a lot of things on Sunday. And, they're expecting their first kid, right, and everything. And they're like, oh, I like to keep my
Uh-huh.
Sunday easy so that, Monday I have work and everything. I'm like, you won't get to choose very soon. You won't get to choose, my friend. You can't be like, oh, I'll do all my
Oh,
work Saturday.
oh
I'm
yeah.
like, because trust me, everything's gonna be everywhere. You're gonna be, your days are gonna be so spread apart.
Oh
Um,
man, I
and I'm
know.
just like, I love this feeling that you have. That I'm like, you know what? You only have a couple more months. That's it. After that, you're not gonna trust me. I'm like, you know what? You're gonna be like, oh man, can I just get like, please, someone let me sleep for half an hour? Like that's all I
I
need.
know.
Like phones have that
Yeah.
4 hour of usage of on 30 or 15 minutes of charge, it's basically that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, it helps so much though. I mean, man, you get that 20 minutes, and I mean, alhamdulillah, that took me to nighttime, and then at nighttime, I was like, okay, I was trying to watch Attack on Titan. So it's this
Oh
new anime
yeah,
that,
man.
man, it is good. It is good. Um, I finished up to season 2 now. So I watched season 1 a long time ago before anything else was released.
Right.
Um, and this was years ago. And then there was no season 2 out, and then I just I kind of dropped the show and came back, and I never got back into it. So I
Yeah.
restarted it after you guys were telling me about it, and it is I don't know what the word is, but it hooks you, right? Like every
Yeah.
episode,
Yeah.
the way the story goes throughout the episodes is
Yeah.
great.
Well, we'll try to keep it spoiler free, and I especially because I'm on season 4 now. Because now there's
Mhm.
so for the viewers, I guess, who are interested, so we have the Attack on Titan, which is based on the manga, right? And I believe manga is a lot more detailed, from what I understand. I haven't read it. I know some of our friends have read it, but yeah, it started in 2013. And then it's taken quite a few years to make. And from what I understand also is that in each season, there's also a bit of a time
Mhm.
jump as well. So you kind of see their story progressing a little bit faster. Now, again, without going into spoilers or anything for any of the seasons, what I really like about this show is the layers. Okay, that's all I can say. And the depth that has
Okay.
been put into the characters, into the storyline. It's so engaging. And like you said, when it hooks you.
Yeah.
It's You're right, man. It's like everyone was telling me, okay, just watch the first two episodes and you will be so curious, you would be so hooked that you won't stop watching it. And I said,
Hmm.
okay, like I've heard so much about it, and I'm just thinking about people who were watching it when it started in 2013, and now like in
Yeah.
2021 we're only in season 4. It's agonizing just to think that if you would wait like what 3 4 years between seasons.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's the tough part, man. Waiting without binge watching. I don't know how
Yeah,
on shows that good. Um, like I just finished rewatching Breaking Bad, and it's
yeah,
all released, right? It's all on Netflix, so
yeah,
yeah, I can binge watch it.
yeah.
But if I not
But
binge
if you had to
watching it,
wait,
that's tough.
yeah. and in Breaking Bad as well, right? Some of the finales were just like, oh my God, you're gonna leave us there. I was watching it. I started watching it while season three was airing. So I caught
Okay.
up till the regular episodes of season three, and then I was like, oh my God, like this is intense, right? And then season four came, and then they were like, oh, we're gonna have to split season five because they're so heavy, there's so much content that we cannot do it all. And you know, season five was actually released in two parts, only because they
Yes.
wanted to release it in the summer, and I think they kind of had this time gap in between, right? And I
Okay.
totally hear you, man. Watching that live was so like I was like, oh my God. And this is
Yeah.
one of those shows that just kept getting better and better and better each season.
Yes.
That
Each season.
I was so afraid that Breaking Bad was gonna like, tank. Like, sorry to say,
I
Dexter
know.
tanked, Game of Thrones and many other shows like that,
Star
right?
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like so many other franchises in media, like they just tank so hard, right? But this,
Right.
I was worried. I'm like, no, please don't. And the best part was the writers and I guess the whole creative team. They were very open, right?
Hmm.
But same goes for Attack on Titan. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you what, but the stuff that, takes place in the later seasons, like for example, you watch season one, you're like, okay, I think I have an idea. Season two completely shatters that, right? You have, and then you're like, over season two, you develop, oh, you know what?
Oh yeah.
I
Like
think I know what's going on now. And guess what? Season three completely shatters that too. And by season three, you're like, no, 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 no. Like I'm telling you my experience. I'm like, no, I know exactly what's happening here. And I started season four, and now, uh, like I think there is another 20 episodes or something. I think in this first part, and I think I'm
in
like
the
on
first
six.
part of season four.
I believe so, yeah. I have to
Okay.
check. I'm pretty sure because I saw, like, I just remember like my video list, and then there was quite a bit of on it. I think it's another 24 because season three was pretty small, if I'm not mistaken, or season two. One of the seasons was
Season
smaller.
two. Season two was just 12 episodes.
Yeah, so season three was pretty big, and then again, there's another
Yeah.
shift, obviously because each season there's time shifts, right? And then this one's pretty big. They're
Um.
trying to do a lot of story in this part, and then there's another part two, like of season four, which is the final, right? This is the final season.
Okay.
Part two is coming in 2022. Um, And just like halfway through this season, I'm just like, okay, like you gave me a really different notion in season three. So I
Yeah.
thought I knew what was going on. And now halfway through season four, you're making me doubt what I thought, right? Again. And I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
can't wait to
Yeah.
finish this season. And I spoke to one other person who's already seen it, who's all caught up, and they're like,
Hmm.
just watch. You have
Has he
no
watched
idea
the
what.
manga?
No, this
Has he
person
read the?
hasn't. No, this person hasn't. There's another, like in our friend circle, I know someone else who has actually read the manga
Yeah.
because they couldn't wait. I'm the kind of
Okay.
person who wants to wait because I feel like it will spoil it for me, so I won't read the manga. At least I'm
Okay.
hoping that I can, stick it out until 2022. But this person was like, "Oh, listen, man, trust me," because I was telling them because they've already watched the show. So I'm
Hmm.
like, "Hey, I think this is what's happening. This is my thoughts." I'm like giving them this huge paragraph, and they're just like, bro, I just can't wait for you to finish season four, part one, and then we will talk. And I'm just like, are they saying that I'm right? Are they saying that I'm
Oh
wrong?
man. Okay. I'll catch up in the next, maybe one to
Yeah,
two
yeah,
weeks.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
the good
yeah,
thing is that the show is, it's what, not even 20 minutes an episode, right? By the time you take out the
yeah,
beginning and the ending, it's
yeah.
like,
Very, very
maybe let's say
little. Yeah.
19, 20 minutes. Um, so yeah, and yeah, you see, the parts that I like,
Hmm.
the so season one, it's parts of it are annoying. You have the main
Yeah,
character who is annoying, right? Fine.
yeah,
But the parts where they're on that form, when they're in the formation and they're like running through the fields on the horses and whatnot,
yeah, yeah,
those are always intense because it's like, oh, Titan on the right, and then you fire the 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 smoke
yeah, yeah.
signal, and then everyone else has to follow through, and it's just like, okay,
The
what's
the
happening in that battle
strategy. You're
formation?
right.
The
100%. Yeah,
strategy,
yeah, yeah.
yes,
Like
yes,
the
and then
military
when you get like
tactics and
some,
everything. Yeah,
yes, yes, Irwin and Levi, their tactics are awesome, and
yeah. Again, don't want to
how I'll
get
say
too
heartless.
spoilery. Too
Yeah,
spoilery. Yeah.
I'm not gonna get spoilery, but
The
just
show.
like, it's not just about being a good guy. You have to be able to willing to make the hard decisions,
Yeah, yeah, and the fun thing
which is
is,
neat.
in the show does a really good job of exploring that. You hit a nail on that because it's like there's no right or wrong. So without again spoiling anything,
Yes.
there's no right or wrong. The way the story presents itself, you come
Right.
to this realization that, oh my God, like it makes sense. Like trust me, once you get to
Yep.
season three and then even four, Zishan,
Yep.
you're gonna be very conflicted about who you care for the more, right? Because
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and it's not even about like, oh, you're gonna, judge or anything. It's just the main character obviously retains their value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, yeah, but this story is so complicated. It's like, there a right or wrong here? Is there a right
Okay.
answer here, right? Right, that's all I can say.
Okay.
Because that's what I've got. Like I get it. Like I was so like yesterday, man. Not yesterday. When did I watch that? I watched, I think, maybe a little bit on Thursday, right? And I was like, and
Yep.
I've been thinking about it since then because I haven't been had a chance to like even because I would watch like 'cause like you said, right? If you cut out all the other stuff, if you just skip like any
Yep.
part you don't like, you skip a little bit because they're screaming or they're trying to show scenery, which is all nice, but I'm trying to get to the end, man.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
there's parts where I'm just like so I have been thinking about it for the last whatever 2, 3 days.
Right.
And let me tell you, man, it's like I'm like, oh my God, like I get it. There's no right or wrong here, and I don't even know who to root for anymore, right? Or should I be
Yeah.
rooting for anybody? It's just like and that complexity that they have created over this time, and filling in the gaps for us. Because again, the show does a really good job. Those little snippets in the middle, right? Information we can
Mm-hmm.
disclose so far and stuff. It's really
Yes.
well done and it's so subtle. They've kept you on the edge of your seats. Like I've been on the edge of my seat, quote unquote seat,
Yep.
since season one, episode two, basically. I'm just like,
Okay.
I really want this story and this saga to conclude. But at this point, it's like I don't know if there is a conclusion because it's so well written that, and you know how they say, oh, it's complicated, right? Like
Yeah.
this is basically the embodiment of that, if I'm not mistaken. And that's just me,
Okay.
right, so far. Maybe it resolves better in the manga or by the
Right.
time, season four, part two rolls
I'm
around.
I'm really hoping. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There will be
I'm hoping so.
compromises. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I'm so because there's so much mystery, right? Right now, everything that I'm watching and I'm
Yeah.
enjoying is like the part of the story, action, character building. That's oh wow, it's cool. But the whole mystery of why is all this really happening?
Happening. Yeah. Yeah.
Like how did we get here?
Yeah.
That in the day present day and time.
Yep.
I don't have answers yet where I am in
Yep.
season two.
Yeah.
And sorry, season three now. I finished season two, started season three. But I think once you're caught up to the end of season four, part one, and once I'm caught up, then we'll do a full detailed
Yeah, like
let's do a
full
detailed
of
analysis
spoilers.
and
Yeah, full of
sure. Yes.
spoilers. Yeah, yeah. Because I have some really interesting thoughts that have come to my mind throughout watching this, and I was just like, and who
Okay.
could have thought, right? Like I've seen anime other like I've been told that other animes, exploring different themes, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
and I know we wanted to explore this too. I mean, if we get a chance, we will today as well. But like just this
Yeah.
like pop culture and all this like consumable media that explores different themes and
Okay. Yep.
like really themes of friendship or determination or like and who would have thought, right? Like you have something like Attack on Titan, right? And like I said, once you finish season three, you will understand a lot of the story, and then in season
Okay.
four, you'll get more depth, right?
Okay. All
And
right.
some more background as well. But by season three, you usually have a pretty good understanding of why present day stuff is happening, right?
Okay. Cool.
But there
All
was
right.
some stuff I feel like they passed over, which then was they kind of came back in season four to and it did a better job of explaining, at least for me.
Nice.
But when I
Okay.
see season end comments for Reddit, like in the past, like for people who watched it season three in the past, and then they had the discussion threads, I because I was curious because I couldn't
Yeah.
understand some things. Some people already were there, like they understood it. I didn't understand it until I got to season
Um.
four, like actually watch season
Okay.
four. So it really
Okay.
depends on how you're watching and how much attention you're paying. But you're right, the themes, and I'm just like, who would have thought, man, in an anime you would
Yeah.
have. I mean, I know I'm kind of doing a blanket statement here, right? But it's just, I guess that's just part of my ignorance too. But I was just like, did you ever think about it? Like, even Dragon Ball Z, growing up, I wasn't paying attention to some of the themes that were really, I won't say subtle either, but like they were there if you were really looking for them, right? Like if we're talking
Okay.
about Dragon Ball Z, like look at Goku, look at his
Yep.
dedication to his family, and by family, not just his immediate family, right? We're talking his like Krillin
His
and
friend. Yeah.
his his perseverance for friendship with Vegeta. But Vegeta's vengeance,
Yep.
and it's not even vengeance against Kakarot, Goku. It's more
No.
like
Yeah.
I want to be better than him, and that's what drives him, right? That's what motivates him.
Pride. His pride.
Pride, exactly. The concept of
Yeah.
pride,
That's
and
his
he's
biggest
like,
one.
oh, my
Yeah.
planet got destroyed, and I care about, and overall, he cares about the Saiyan race, but still, he wants to be the best one for them, right?
Yep.
It's not like, oh, I'm doing it for power or something. Like these small things, and same thing in Attack on Titan. Without again going into details, it taught like that friendship, family,
Yeah.
purpose, goal, right?
With
Like
Aaron.
yeah,
Yeah.
like and
Each
even
of them
others.
have something.
Exactly, right? And it's so well done, and I'm just like,
That's a good
how do
point.
you, yeah, if, I can't writing it in a let's say because manga is basically their version of comics,
Yeah.
right? Doing it in that and then translating it to screen. I know there are parts that are really annoying, but there are parts that are like, for example, again, without mentioning any detail, I'll just take character names like
Yeah.
Armin, what he can do. Like, and they do a really good job of exploring other stuff there. You have Aaron, right? Who, I mean, he's the obvious one, right? I mean, again, we won't mention why, what, because I'd like whoever's going to watch it, right, to have their own exploration. And then
Right.
same for Mikasa and all the other like, the commanders and captains. As they
Yep.
come, you realize it's like it's not just it's just they're good because of this. No, it's like you see it throughout. Like you see it kind
Yep.
of I don't know how else it's like oozing out of them as their
Yeah.
character has screen presence, right?
Yes. Right. Yes. No, no, they do a good job. Yeah, and you can tell like, Erwin's purpose, what it is, and why he fights and why he does what he does. And Armin is what's his objective, and Mikasa, she has her objective, and
Yeah,
Commander Erwin,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. Like
he's a complex character. Like
really well
he
done,
has
really
tough,
well done. Yeah,
yeah. Um,
and
no,
that's what
so
I
so they
mean,
do a good
man.
job. And
Yeah,
so a quick note about Attack on Titan for anyone interested, anyone who's watched Death Note, it's the same it's the same makers,
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
right?
think I told me, yeah,
So yeah, like the way they do the characters there, the story,
yeah.
um, it's fantastic, and it's a very short
Have you seen
um
Death Note as well?
anime. I've seen Death Note. I've seen
Oh
Death
man,
Note. I've really really enjoyed it.
oh yeah,
So if anyone's looking for something to watch, then that's also
yeah,
recommended. I think it's all on Netflix as well. All of
yeah.
Death Note's on Netflix.
Okay,
Um,
I gotta watch
but
that
I know
too.
and a quick note to Arif to watch Breaking Bad because he doesn't watch
Yeah,
it.
like I'm like, listen, man. Once you start watching it, you will get so hooked. Like forget like Office and all these other shows. They have their presence in your life, and you understand why
Yeah,
you like them. But
yeah.
with Breaking Bad, it's so hard to explain why you're gonna love it. Like you are like, and the spin-off, the Better Call Saul, that I need to start
Oh
again
man,
because me
yes,
personally, man, I could not stand the character of Chuck. I think I mentioned that to you. And I
yeah,
know you guys have been telling me it's okay, it gets better. Trust me, like for giving, I guess, everyone that sake of
yeah,
doing justice to their characters in the show, you should go watch it.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll rewatch it because I need to reignite my hate for Chuck, and I really hope something
Mm.
happens to him in this show because, God, that guy's insufferable, man. I've never
He
seen a
he
character that has
he
made me.
gets under your skin. He gets under your skin. Like,
Hats off to the actor, by the way. He's done an amazing job for
man,
that.
yeah, yeah. He's been acting for so many years. He's a famous guy, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, when you get
Again, no
past,
spoilers.
I know I'm not gonna get, when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get past your hatred for Chuck and you really get into the rest of Better Call Saul, like, especially because you've watched Breaking Bad, the
yeah.
way it flows, and we have one season left in Better Call Saul.
Right, right. It's a final
Um,
season, right?
yeah, that's the season, so it's gonna be 2022 as well.
Oh my God.
Man, we have a lot of content coming
Yeah,
up. Like,
yeah,
so we have, I'm just thinking, right? Now I'm gonna switch topics. What we have coming up.
yeah.
We have Loki coming up,
Like next
right?
week.
Yeah, which is
Well,
gonna be
actually, the middle
crazy.
of the week. In the middle of the week. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
Oh yeah,
remember,
they moved the
they're
date.
doing
You're
a
right.
Wednesday. Yeah. Remember, he said the Friday. Wednesdays are the new Fridays, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
yes,
like I
yes.
like how like in the
Then,
face there, yeah. And then you're talking about the rest of the year as well.
yeah, yeah, rest of the year in 2022. Let's
Well,
we
they're
have
trying to
Black Widow.
release, yeah, they're trying to release Black Widow. I feel bad, so bad for her. Like she got her movie made so late, and then it's still getting delayed. We got Eternals coming this year. That's a really interesting movie. That movie has got me really curious.
Yes. We
Shang-Chi
have,
is coming this year as well, right?
I think so.
We're
Yeah,
supposed to
it
get
is
four
probably
movies, by the way, because I thought that Spider-Man No Way Home was also coming in December.
December. December. We also have what's it called? The Jeremy Renner. What's his character?
Hawkeye's,
Hawkeye.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hawkeye's TV show's
Hawkeye's
coming
TV,
out.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
the Disney Plus series, yep. We got
yes.
like we'll just
Uh,
okay, just on the sticking to Marvel side. Then next year, I think we have Miss Marvels the Marvels. I don't know if
the
that's a movie or
Marvels.
TV show, right? That has like Captain Marvel,
Oh,
Miss Marvel. She's getting her own show, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so that's a movie. Yeah, Marvels is a movie.
yeah.
We got Miss Marvel
Photon.
as a TV show, Photon there and there as well. Yeah, and obviously Captain Marvel. We got She-Hulk
Yeah.
coming with her own series.
Really?
Yeah, there's a Blade movie coming as
Wait,
well.
who is She-Hulk? Who is She-Hulk? What is she?
She-Hulk was
Like,
is I think she has a similar story to Dr. Banner. So I'm pretty
okay,
sure Mark Ruffalo's going to be in it as Bruce Banner, right? Because
okay,
they didn't know where else. I don't know where else they will take Hulk's characters, right? We
right.
got Doctor Strange 2. Oh my God, I cannot wait
Oh
for that
man.
movie. Part 2 of that coming
Yes.
next year. We got what
Okay,
other movies? Like I said, at some point Blade is going to be made. Fantastic Four might be
okay.
coming in 2023. We
Uh,
got who else? We got Black Panther
Guardians of the
2,
Galaxy 3,
Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy is also getting a special at the end of
Thor
this year, if I'm not
4.
mistaken. Thor 4. What else? We have apparently there's a Young Avengers movie in the making as well, because they're introducing these
Okay,
younger and younger characters, so there might be that.
okay.
And this is all like basically some of these have dates, some of these don't. I have to pull that little timeline that I
Yeah,
think
that
they had, right? So
right.
like Black Panther through Wakanda Forever, right? There's that.
Oh man, really? That's
Um,
coming out when? 2020. When is that coming out?
I think
2022?
2022 or 2023. And I'm really curious how
Okay,
they're going to do it because I know they said they'll pay homage to Chadwick's character, and it's so
okay.
sad, man. I loved him as Black Panther, and it's
I
just
know. Yeah.
every time you watch that portal scene, right, in Endgame when all the heroes are coming, he's the
Yes, he
first one to
comes
come
up.
out, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you can see, man, even in that scene, he looks a little weak, and like throughout this time,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that's another topic for another day. Yeah, I'm really upset, man. I loved his portrayal. He did it
Yeah.
just the entrance in Civil War for the Black
Yes.
Panther, it
Oh
was
man.
so good, man. And I love that suit,
His
by the way.
he.
Civil War suit
Yes.
was the best suit, obviously.
Yes. Yes. And
So
the way his character developed, right, from vengeance, that's what he wanted. He wanted
yeah,
revenge
yeah,
till the end of the movie when he doesn't kill
right?
Zemo.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
just like that progression. Like first he's driven by hatred, then eventually, and I think it was the final straw was Zemo's line. He said something about, an empire made destroyed by its enemies can always be rebuilt, but an empire that is destroyed from within or that crumbles from within has no chance of rebuilding it, right? Because he took that ideology from Hydra, right? Because he's like,
okay,
with Hydra's process was cut off one head, two more shall take its
two
place,
girls.
right?
Yes.
But if you were to able to somehow destroy Hydra from within, then you don't have to worry about it as a threat because it destroys itself, right? But
Right.
Hydra already knows this, and the way they have bought the loyalty of their people, it's crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
what did they used to say in Captain America 2, I think, the Zola, the
Uh-huh.
scientist, he says it. He's like, we tried to take humanity's freedom away. We realized that, they would always fight back because this is something that's very obvious and right in front of them. What we need to do
Okay.
is we need to, basically convince them to give up their freedom for security. And it's so funny because they were talking about how
Mm.
private, and at right about that time, we had obviously Snowden and all this stuff going on, and
Okay.
them playing on this theme. Pay attention to that scene in Captain
Okay.
America
All
Winter
right. When they're in the
Soldier.
basement.
Yep,
All right.
that scene is so pivotal
Okay.
because it's not just talking about the movies, my friend. It's talking about a lot more, and it's like, that's why like, if you take humanity's freedom away, they fight back. And what Hydra realized that if they wanted to take over the world, or if they wanted to control everything, they had
Yeah.
to convince humanity to willingly give up their freedom, willingly
Oh,
be
wow.
open to surveillance and all that in the name of security. And they were just playing
Okay.
on, the real world issues, right? And again, really well done. That's what you gotta love about the
Okay.
Marvel universe,
Wow.
man. Like they're then
Yeah.
drawing these parallels, and again, Thanos' theory on the whole hey overpopulation and he's talking on a universal scale. The resources
Mm.
are scarce and everything, and it's like, bro, why don't you just double the resource? He's like, yeah, but that doesn't solve it. Like in his mind, that doesn't solve the problem. He's like, how many times am I going to double resource? We should be more careful about how our population is growing, this and that. And again, taking someone in the comics like as Thanos, who is obsessed with death because he's in love with her, and that wouldn't have translated well onto the screen.
Yeah.
But then you
You
have
want to,
this
yeah.
this Titan who lost his world, and nobody listened to him, and he's like, I want to fix this for other people. So really,
Yeah.
I'm the good guy here. You guys are the bad guys. You guys are stopping me from, solving a very, very
From his
big problem,
perspective.
right? Like
Yeah.
he's the hero. Like that's why, and we'll do a session on Infinity War on why and it kills two birds with one stone. Why is it a better movie? Some people say in Endgame. Well, and I'm of the opinion, and I may be in the minority here, is that they're two different movies, right?
They
Infinity
are.
War
Yeah.
is a story of why Thanos is a hero, at least in his eyes, and
Right.
he's
It's a Thanos movie.
it's his movie, his determination, it's just the sheer willpower he has, and his
Yeah.
line says it right. The hardest choices require the strongest of wills, right? And you
Mhm.
can see throughout this movie, there's compassion shown. You don't see that in the Thanos you see in Endgame. That's because that's not a seasoned
No.
Thanos. This Thanos has not suffered loss yet.
Correct.
He's still driven by the same motivations, but for the wrong purpose. Because he's like, oh, I'll just tear down the universe and I'll rebuild this and that. But Infinity War Thanos would never do that because he
You
has
don't think so?
compassion. I don't think so, no man. There's this
I think.
deleted scene. Sorry, there's
Okay.
this deleted scene
Go ahead.
about that shows the ruthlessness of this 2014 Thanos. There was a scene that they actually cut out because obviously the movie was so long already. They were gonna have this whole that once he shows up, right, into the future,
Yeah.
there was this montage where, and it's like really gruesome, where he literally throws the head of a decapitated Captain America from his 2014 timeline. So once he finds out that the Avengers went after him in the future, in his timeline, he goes, and these Avengers are not really as good of a team yet, and there's not there very many of them. He actually goes and defeats all of them. He takes Captain America, he decapitates him, takes his head, brings it to the future, and he throws it at the three of them in the future. That like some, and then there's some lines as well that are exchanged, and it was supposed to be like
Okay.
basically a scare tactic to like really really gruesome scare tactic to show that this Thanos is very serious. It's a very different Thanos, right? But the
Hmm.
cutting floor and obviously other creative differences made it not possible for that scene. Yeah, but that was a scene that was going to happen. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that they wanted to put in that they never made,
Right.
like they never even shot it. But can you
Okay.
imagine that scene in like Endgame? I honestly I'm glad that they didn't put it in because I think it would really
Yeah.
throw it
No. It
off,
just.
right?
Yeah.
But but just watch the way this Thanos fights in Endgame, right? I mean, we'll do more of this discussion, but again,
Yes. Oh yeah.
these
It's
these
ruthless. Like.
you bring it back to our original point where all this media, all this culture, like the pop culture stuff, the
Right.
way they portray, human emotions or like real life situations, right? Or themes. And it's like, oh man, like and same with Loki. You had a very seasoned Loki that died in Infinity War, but Endgame
Yes.
gave you a very different Loki, and he's gonna be the proper god of mischief who hasn't redeemed himself. I'm sure he will in his own way in this new series. This is gonna be
Yeah.
because
It
I'm
was a
sure
whole different Loki.
all different
This
Loki.
Loki.
Yeah.
This Loki hasn't even gone through Thor 2 yet, right?
Yes.
Um.
Yeah.
He hasn't, right? This
Nope.
Loki is the one
Nope. This
from.
Loki's from at the end of Avengers, the first
So
Avengers.
he's
Yeah.
he's evil. He's
He's
still
he's a
evil.
yeah, he's evil. He wants to take over the world, And
Yes.
I bet you dollars to donuts, man. This whole series is going to be about a new redemption arc for him, slightly different, and he may come to, because his time and multiple timelines and everything involved, because we have the time variance authority in this TVA. They basically make sure the time stays,
Yep.
intact, the timelines. So I have a feeling that there might be, and I really want it to be, that there is a point where he jumps into a timeline where our Thor has lost his Loki. So when he sees him, it's like a big moment for him. Is like, whoa,
Mm,
right? Like you're alive, or oh, something happened to you, and then they have this back and forth, and he quips at him and is like, oh, you know what? I'm the god of mischief, right? I can't die, or this and that, right? But really show that
okay.
emotion that Thor has lost an actual brother, and that would also make
Right.
him reconsider, like, what happened to this Thor that when he saw me, he's so like he's not his
It, it
usual self.
it reminds me of the scene from Endgame where Thor goes and he meets his mom, and his mom is like,
Oh
"The
man,
future hasn't been kind to you,"
that scene
right?
is
Like
just
she can
so
see
so
it.
well done. Yeah.
Man, Thor's whole story. I mean, yeah, the second movie, blah blah blah, is whatever. But after, like, what he goes through from Ragnarok
Yeah. Yeah.
is fantastic, right? Like
Yeah.
how Loki eventually, I guess, how Loki sacrificed his life to try to save Thor
Yeah.
in Infinity War,
Yeah.
and the way that movie just starts off, Infinity War, it
Yeah.
just sets the whole tone for the movie, actually.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
It's like this is not going to be a heroes movie. It's going to be
no,
a heroes
no,
movie if your hero is Thanos.
yeah,
Right.
I remember walking out of the theater and I was just,
I cannot believe it. They did.
I,
Like I was like, they're madmen. They actually did it, right? Like they actually
yeah,
let him win. Like, and that's where
I
the movie
couldn't believe
ended.
it.
Oh man. I was
I was,
expecting
what is going on?
I was expecting maybe he doesn't get all the stones, or if he gets the stones and he snaps, and that's where the movie ends. We don't get what happened. No, they actually showed us, hey, this is who we're losing, by the way, and you won't find out what
Yeah,
happens for another year. Like,
yeah,
and we
yeah.
all knew they were
That
gonna
was
come
cool.
back, right? We all knew they were gonna
Yeah,
come back somehow, but that the the emotion, just the theater was quiet,
yeah.
and if you notice, right after he snaps his fingers, there's no music. There's no music
There's
at
nothing.
all
It's
until the
just,
credits roll, and way, way
yeah,
in the credits later on, there's like a little bit of music, and it's just like so eerie. Like, oh man,
yeah. It was. It was. It was just all you hear is everyone just,
right? That's
one by
it.
one,
Yeah,
and then Spider-Man scene, and when he has to say goodbye to Tony.
yeah. Very
Um,
powerful again. Yeah,
and yeah, and you're coming back to a point that you mentioned with that Thanos, right? That Thanos in Infinity War wasn't there to kill. He wasn't there to,
exactly.
wreck everything. Because
Yep.
he lets Tony live.
He
He
was
he
disabling people basically.
yes, correct. Because he's like, I'm not here to hurt you.
Yeah.
Um, I just want the stones to bring balance
And then
and
to
bring
fulfill my
resources.
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Um, and even when he did fulfill his purpose, what does he do? He destroys the stones so
Yep.
that nobody else can,
Undo it or do
ruin
anything
his,
else.
yeah, right.
Exactly.
Or
Yep.
or use that power where they shouldn't be using it.
Right. And he says it. It nearly killed me. I used the stones to destroy the stones. And you can see like his resentment, his guilt, but also he's like, hey, I did this for a bigger person. This wasn't for me. He's like, because if I wanted to, him destroying the stones is a testament. Because if he wanted to, he could have used them for
Yeah,
himself after that too, for whatever he wanted.
yeah,
But he is like, no, it's not
right?
about me. And that's why I say that, he was so much more compassionate. That I don't think he would have done what the 2014 Thanos was saying, because the 2014 Thanos has not had a loss yet. He's just been rampaging through the galaxy, bringing balance and everything. But see, our Thanos has had 9 years of development, and he is lost. And I don't
Yeah,
just mean the loss of Gamora, just
yeah,
his humility has kind of been building up as well. So
yeah,
by this time,
right.
he's put himself in this position where it's like, yeah, I don't want to just kill. I don't want to be seen as the guy who just kills. I'm trying to do something here. I'm trying to bring balance. Like look at what has happened after I brought balance to like planets, right? That's what he says, because he's talking to
Yeah,
Gamora, right? He's like, oh, those
Right.
kids have seen nothing but, filled bellies and a happy life. But and it's like, yeah, but what
Yeah.
about the people you massacred? And she's like, and then he's like, yes, a small price to pay for salvation. And I'm just like, he is so content with that ideology that
Yeah.
even in that moment, you can see his face. He's upset, but he's like, no, but this is the right thing to do. And I'm just like, wow, how do you get that on
And
screen, right? Like, how do you
he,
make some,
he he's an eco-terrorist basically. He's not looking at. He has his one thing. He has tunnel vision, right?
yep,
He's
yep,
just seeing that's what I need to do. I don't care about
yep.
everything else. Um, but do you think they'll bring a Thanos movie, like a prequel, how he became maybe who he is?
I don't think they should because we've seen quite a few bits and pieces, and there's enough history there. I really think that it's best to move on because it's there. It's like it's in its own. How do I say this?
Yeah,
It's like it's an own ember and or resin, like it's preserved,
sure.
and any other poking at it will ruin it, I think. So,
Yeah.
the next big bad villain I want to see is Doom, and we'll talk about
I
this
hope they do him
inshallah.
right. I hope
I
they do
hope
him
so
right.
too, and give him, and again, like with Doom, it's the same thing. It's not like if you see at the core, it's not about ruling the world and being the king. For Doom, he wants to just be omnipotent. He wants to be God. That's his motivation. Well, I
Okay,
mean, in some
I see.
storylines, there's been different motivations as well, and I think that's the kind of
Okay,
one thing I want to go for, where he's like he wants to challenge. He's like Goku, but an evil Goku who wants to constantly be more and more powerful. So he wants to
okay,
get to the level of basically, I think in the Marvel universe, there's obviously superhumans, demigods slash artist guardians. Then you have the
okay,
Eternals. Then you have the Celestials that are
okay,
basically embodiments of things like the universe and other things, right? Like eternity. Like, for
okay.
example, in Guardians 2, Ego shows Star-Lord eternity. That's a celestial. That's an actual being. He
Mm,
was seeing that
okay,
because Ego was a
okay,
demigod connected to celestial. So you have celestials, and then you have, I believe, the one above all, which is supposed to be the god or the creator of everything. I think that's how the
okay,
hierarchy works in the Marvel universe.
okay,
And like, so Doom is the kind of person who wants to challenge that, not because he
okay.
wants to rule, but because he wants to be the most powerful person around, right? That's what Doom's thing
I
is.
see. Okay,
And in the comics,
okay,
Doom
okay.
and Thanos go head to head. Anyway, we'll talk about that some other day, man.
Oh wow, I gotta check that
But
comics out then. Wow,
so,
just
like,
send me a note about it
exactly.
afterwards so I can read
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'll
inshallah,
check
yeah.
it out.
But yeah, man,
Um,
there's lots of themes to be, discovered. Inshallah, we'll do something more like on Attack on Titan as well. And I really want to like us to discuss the differences between, and I don't want to say why Endgame is worse or sorry, Infinity War is better than Endgame. I want to do like a versus comparison, inshallah. And I
sure.
think because they're both very different movies for very different reasons for me.
Oh
Yes, they
yeah.
were sort of, at one point they were gonna shoot them all together, but I'm really glad they didn't because they give very different stories. They have different themes. One is just a race and a determination, thing that someone's trying to do, and the other is more
Hmm.
of a not a redemption, but it's just like talking about moving on and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll get into that,
Yeah.
maybe in another
And it's a
session.
fan service too, right?
And
It
the
is a
biggest
fan service.
one,
Like
that's
that
the
movie.
biggest one. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
fan service, right? And honestly, man, like that, as we say, right? Thanos is our generation's Darth Vader. Really well done
Oh
villain.
yeah.
And it's just, yeah, man.
Well, a
So
thing isn't beautiful. A thing isn't beautiful because it
because it
lasts.
lasts.
So
Yep. It was a
yeah.
privilege to be among in the time, right? As Vision says, it's a privilege to be among them. So I would say it was a privilege to experience it, right? Because it's never going to happen
Yes.
again. That hype,
No.
walking into Endgame, the hype for Infinity War, just I'm sure the
Man.
next big bad Avenger movie or the big Avenger movies are going to have their own hype. But this
Yeah.
Infinity Saga, and who would have known
Oh yeah.
back in 2008 when Iron Man was coming? So yeah, man.
Man, I started watching that last night, but then I fell asleep.
Yeah, not as
Yeah.
engaging anymore, right? But
I
we've
don't
seen
know. I
so
was I
much.
was I was just tired. I
Oh, you're
was just
tired.
tired.
Okay.
It's a good it's a good movie, but it's on that 24/7 Marvel channel. So
Yeah,
I
that's
started
a
at
good channel
so
sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, you can just put it on and watch whatever is there. But anyway, um let's continue our conversation in another episode, inshallah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you again. I think we're probably gonna, and I want to aim for the Attack on Titan one because it's fresh for us. So
Yes.
maybe we'll try
Yes. I
that
like
next,
it.
and then
All
we'll
right.
really get that do a full spoiler one. But thank you again for your
Cool.
time, sir. Alrighty, take it easy,
Peace out.
and thanks again for
All
everyone for
right.
watching. And yeah, we'll see you in another episode. Assalamualaikum.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.